Hi there. So you just watched me do do the quick sketch using the pattern. I did a transfer. So I transferred the drawing using the tracing paper, and I transferred the drawing first in pencil to get the line drawing onto my canvas, and then I used the Sharpie marker. I really like the fine tip point. But I have, you can also use the other type of Sharpie, and it just gives you a different line. So, but this one here, so when I did my original drawing, I just did just a little bit of the basket, and then I came in and just put a bunch of lines and stuff in the basket. You don't have to trace every line. This is your, let me show you. This is the original. Here's the original drawing, and you can see all the lines and stuff here. Also, all I did was a small line there, and then I came back in and did more here. So you can always add. What's really nice about this is that you can always add more, and then also, if you don't like something in the original, then go ahead and take it out or add to it. I also centered the paper, so it's designed to where you can make it longer on the outside, so it just brings it all together. I am going to start painting now, and I think I'm going to start. I want some of my grapes. I'm going to go ahead and do the grapes, and I think what I want is some of the grapes to be purple and some of the grapes to be green. But so let me just, I put a little bit of purple on my mixing plate here, and I'm just going to add lots and lots of water. That's how we do this, is you want to do very, very lightly. And I think I'm going to do this one purple, so I'm going to just go in here and start putting the purple in. And you want, again, just try to do really lightly with a lot of water, so that it's that you're not putting down the full strength of the paint. So this is acrylic paint, so it'll be permanent, and it's also going to dry relatively fast. So I'm going to just keep on going. I'm going to put some colors down. I want to have different variations of the water versus the strength of the paint. So I'll see what I can do. You can see this one's darker, but I have, let's see what, here, there you go. So you want some variations in your paint here, adding color, making it lighter. This paint is heavily pigmented, and so it will last a very long time. So as I go here, I'm going to just keep on going here. And let's see here. All right. And just keep on going. And let's see here, make these purple here. All right, and I think these guys down here are going to be purple. Okay, so that's going to dry. That's going to dry really fast, but I'm going to go in, and I can go in and I can start. So down at the bottom of some of my grapes, I'm going to start off putting some darker color. Just give them a little bit of a darker color, because that's going to be kind of like just try to make these like look three-dimensional. And let's see here, whoops. So I'm just going to put a little bit of shade. Let me put a little purple in there. There was no grape in here, but it didn't look good with it, or it just was an empty space, so I just filled it in with purple. Okay, you can kind of see how I'm just going into the corners, deciding where some of the darker spots are going to be. Again, over here, there's but I'm going to just fill this in with some purple. Okay, so continuously let this dry. All right, so it's already starting to look a little bit three-dimensional. Let me see here. Add a little bit more here, and a little here, and down here, and then we'll come back and we can still add. I'm gonna add purple down here too. We can still add some more in a few after this dries. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get my green and add a lot of water. And let's see here, that's a little too, let's add just a tiny bit of another green. Oops. There we go. Let's see what we can get. Okay, I think that's a better, and you're not able to see what I'm doing here. Let me pull this down. So here's my green. All right, so again, add lots and lots of water to make this work. So if you put your colors down too strong, then it's really hard to come back, and of course it dries and then you won't be able to go back over it. But all these colors are transparent, so they work together, and you can just keep on with a really light, using lots of water. And then you're able to go back over just like we did here, and then just keep on going. Let's see here. And actually, I'm not liking how this guy right here, so I'm just gonna make a little indication that there's a grape there. I didn't like how that was just hanging there, so I'm gonna change that. It just didn't look like something that grapes really do, just kind of hang out there. So they probably do, but anyway. All right, so this over here is another green grape. Now, the other thing about this is, of course, this is your painting. So you have the decisions of what it is how you want to do this. And honestly, some of these fruits you can decide, there could be green apples, red apples. You can do anything you want here. You could make this actually abstracted if you would like to. And okay, so that's the green. And since I have green all the way already out, I think I will go ahead and look at my leaf. And I'm just doing a real light color. I'm kind of slapping it on a little bit. Oh, okay. And then the purple just went into there, which is fine. All right, and actually it'll make a nice color for the leaf. So I'm gonna just put this on here. Now, let's say that you're putting some stuff down here on your canvas and you don't like it at all going on here. So all you have to do is, whoops, let me grab something, like paper towel. So let's say that you don't like how this and this are the same color. So you can just go in here, wipe this down. I'm gonna wipe this off. So I like this color of my leaf, but I'm gonna go in and do a different color for the other side. So right here. So I'm gonna go ahead with a little purple, adding the purple to the green. And voila. So this is giving it a little bit. So this leaf is kind of folded, it's old, and I got a little bit on the back side here. Let's see if I can get that. Whoops, what is that? All right, which this is fine. All right, There are really no mistakes here. Okay, so this right here is kind of a darker color, so I'm going to go in here and see about putting in some little shadows for my grapes here, making them look three-dimensional, just adding a little bit. So far this is just green and purple. That's the only colors that we've used so far. Okay, and here. All right, and I paint, when I paint these pictures, I paint them very loose. And what that means is, like, you can see just how I kind of skip across, add a little bit. And if you want it to follow, then you just kind of, so if you want something to be a little bit more smoother, then you just add a little water. And see how that just kind of, it just kind of brings it together. All right, so then you can just go over here, add a little more water. You just have to be, when you're doing that, be careful how much water you add. But then the other thing is also, you have to keep track of what's wet and what's dry. So as soon as it's dry, then you don't, there's little to no options of going back and doing like this technique here. All right, so I have this green and purple color going on here. I think what we'll do is we'll do a little brown. Let me see, where's the brown? Okay, here's the little brown. And I'm gonna do the basket real quick. And you can see how much I'm putting on the plate. It's just so little. And the color is just, okay, so here's my brown. All right, and I'm gonna start doing the basket. There we go. Now you could have just left the basket solid and not put little lines in it, which would have been fine. Also, I like this technique, like if you go outside the line, I mean, it's really not a big deal. Because you're just kind of loosely putting some color down. I'm running out of water here. Okay. And this basket is just a kind of a made up basket. I saw there's a basket that looks like this, but I just simplified it so it would be easier for you to draw it and paint it, because it was a little bit more in and out weaving in here, but so I just kind of simplified the shapes. So just make it easier. So there we go. All right. Okay, so then I got a little brown here. So I'm gonna just do a couple little brown specks on my little leaf here. And just make it, there we go. Give it a couple little, it's getting old, the leaf is getting old, and the tips are kind of old, and there you go. So bringing that together, let's see here, what else do we have? Oh, right here, I can do a little brown here. Tiny little brown on this is the little stem here. Oh, and I forgot, I wanted another stem coming out of here. So I'm just gonna put that here. I did have that on my original drawing. And I just, I liked it because it kind of broke up that shape right there. There we go. All right, so we're coming right along here. All right, now I'm going to go back into purple, and these here were going to be plums. So let me spin my plate, and my table has a little bit of a tilt, so the colors on my plate are kind of running into each other. but that's just fine. Make it work. Okay, so let's see here, and I think I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of red to my purple, really tiny, to give it another plummy color. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so I got nice plum color here. Add lots and lots of water. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here. And actually, it looks like I could probably use just a tiny bit more red, which I think I'll add. Let's see here. Okay. Oops. There we go. All right, I think that's better. There we go. All right, so there's my plum color. All right, let's get the other plums. So when you're mixing the colors, again, because these colors are so transparent, they kind of, it's really even, it's very, you don't get a lot of ugly colors. You can't, like when you do a lot of other painting, you'll get, when you're mixing colors a lot, you'll end up with kind of a mud, and then dull colors. These colors, because they're all transparent and they're so highly pigmented that they just blend together and work. All right, so again, you can decide what it is that you're doing, but I'm going to make all of these just feel like plums. These are all just kind of plums down here. So we're going to have lots of plums in my basket. You can make those nectarines or little apples. You can make them anything you want. It's just I'm going to make them into plums. Okay, so I really like what's going on here, this little guy here. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna go in here, this guy, let's see here, this one's dry a little bit. So I'm gonna go in here, give him a little bit more. So I'm putting down the little darker spots. So inside this basket, I mean, everything in this basket should be really dark because this is heavily shaded, this basket. You're like really shaded in here. So we're going to try to make these a little bit darker. Okay. Let's see here. Alright, and then this guy right here is going into my basket, but it's really not a big deal, but we'll just fix it real quick before it gets. Alright, and now I'm going to do a little bit of shadow down here. So I got some shadow here, and then this right here, this little seam here is going to be, alright, and then add some water. Yeah, there we go. So the water makes it look a little bit smoother, brings out, there we go, see how that just, so it kind of just spreads the paint around, makes it feel a little bit more, instead of grainy from the canvas, it just kind of feels and fills in the gaps, and so it really just makes it feel cohesive there. Okay, all right, so I'm going to take a tiny bit of the brown and just add that to my, just to these little dots here, just so that they have a little bit of a darker edge there. It's not really a stem. All right, so you can see this right here, it's spreading out, but this is just, it's kind of making that little area where you know that that's where the, where it's going in and it's darker. All right, so now let's see here. Now what do we got? This right here is going to be an orange, so I'm going to take a little bit of an orange, and just a tad, let's see here, a little, Oops. And a little bit of, there you go. Let's see what we got. Just okay, all right, it's just a little bit vibrant. So let's see here, so not, okay. Okay. All right, just a little, whoops, no. What do I want? A little bit more yellow. All right, a little bit more yellow. There we go. All right. So you just keep on going until you find but you're just adding just a tiny, tiny bit. All right, I'm making lots of water because this is really, really strong. There we go. All right, so let's put down here. Is my orange. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna have to let that dry. These right here are going to be peaches, so I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna go over here and do orange here as well. And then I'm gonna go back over it with some red as it dries. Because peaches are they have kind of a red and orange kind of things going on in there. Okay, so this needs to dry. And fix that a little, okay? All right. All right, so let's let that dry. All right, and I just wiped my my brush. Okay, and let's see here. All right, then this is gonna be red apple. Let's try, let's see. All right, and with the tiniest bit of orange here. Let's see what that is, okay. Whoops, I'm getting careless here. There we go. And get some red, some water. Okay, now this has to dry, and then we'll put some more on that. Okay. All right, whoops, and I forgot the green here, so let me get this green. Let me put down a little bit more green. I forgot those leaves. Whoops, okay. All right, so let's get these leaves real quick. Forgot that. Okay. All right, so when you're doing, so there's, after this, after you've got your fruit done, then you can decide, you know, do you want your table, what color do you want your table, or, you know, this could be a tablecloth, and then you could have your background. The background could be a wallpaper with a pattern on it, or there's just many, many choices there that you can make. All right, so let's go. I've got, all right, let me go back into my peach. And I'm just adding a little bit of red. And peaches are a little bit splotchy. They're a little bit little splotchy with little red here and there. Okay. And I think this right here, I'm gonna just kind of add the darker color right there. I'm just adding a color that's just on my palette. Just a darker orange, or actually a darker purple. But it just needs to be there to kind of give an indication. Okay, so now I want to do a little bit of work on my orange, and I'm just going to, I want a texture on my orange. So I'm going to just take my brush and give it a little bit of texture. And it's kind of blending in right now, but I'm going to let it dry a little bit more. Okay, And then I'm going to go back into my red, my apple, give it some more. And you can see like how the things are just starting to really pop out here. And I'm going to fix that little stem real quick too. So I'm going to give him, I'm going to add just a little bit of darker, like a purple down here. So it has a little bit indication of shadow. And just darker here. Just so it makes it look like it's a little round. There we go. All right. And then I can add lots and lots of red. Red, red, red. There we go. All right. And clean my brush. And let's see here. I'm going to make, let's see here. There we go. Just the tiniest bit. Okay, let's go back into, let's see here. Go back into here. I can fix some of this right here, right next to where it's white. I'm gonna fix some of that. I can make these a little bit darker again because they kind of lighten up a little bit as they, okay. And I'm kind of a little bit, something's going on there, but I think what I'll do is I'm going to just kind of make some little circles down here and maybe just make it so that it feels like, there you go. So just giving the illusion that there's like some grapes in the basket way down there in the depths. And then let's see here, what can I do over here? I think I'm gonna just, I might just go ahead and put some purple, some dark purple down here, just kind of fill it in a little bit. Just so it kind of, there we go. Just a little bit, so there we go. I just felt too white, so I'm actually gonna go, this is a little, okay, just darken these up, just darken this space up here. There you go. Just so we got, it's not totally stark inside the basket. It should be dark colors in there. And now that I look at this, I think these need to be a little bit, this needs to be a lot darker here. All right, there we go. So now we got some real shadows here, down here in the basket. All right, now let's see here. I've got the edge of my peach that still needs a little help here. So let's do that. There we go. And let's see, what can we do to make it a little shadowy right here? Give it a little volume. All right, and fix this little edge. And give this a little volume down here. Okay. All right, and we're still, okay, the orange is still, let's see, can we, yep, all right, now it's a little bit drier. Now I can do a little bit more dots. A little bit more. There we go. Just want to give it like feeling of texture. Just so we have a little bit more texture. Okay. All right, now I think I'm going to try to remove a little bit of red here because I want, so there should be like, you see how like some of these grapes and things have this like little light, or I mean a little white on them. And it's really nice because it also makes it look like light is hitting it. So I want a little bit, if you come back, sometimes you can go back, and so that's nice right there. Let's see here. There you go. So I can make a little bit of light hitting this. I wonder if I can do the same thing with this little plum. I don't know. Might be all right. It's probably way too dry, but we'll give it a try. All There we go. All right, so we took off a little bit, and I might be able to do a little bit of that, like maybe right here too. See if I can get that. The plums might be needing to be a little bit darker too. Okay, let's just do a little bit more plum. This is, there we go. Okay. All right. So, okay, so this is where I'm going to leave you right now. You can decide to do your background or anything else, but this is where I'm gonna leave you, and then I think I'll just kind of I'll just play around with the table with some color. All right, I hope you're enjoying this class, and see you soon.